On this Friday, March the 13th, 2026, we are in the opening act of a two-part winter storm sequence that is about to deliver one of the most dramatic weather events of the entire season. A powerful clipper is pushing through today with wind gusts of 50 to 80 miles per hour and blizzard conditions from the northern plains through the Great Lakes. But this is the smaller one. The main event arrives Sunday when a second storm system is expected to undergo near bombogenesis, strengthening approximately 24 millibars in 24 hours and pivot directly across the Great Lakes, where warm lake waters will supercharge snowfall totals. We are talking 2 to 4 feet of snow around the Great Lakes from the combined effects of the snow bomb and lake enhancement. At the same time, severe weather, including tornadoes, fires along the east coast on the warm side of this monster. Behind it all, a cold blast plunges temperatures 20 to 30 degrees below average all the way to the deep south. And all three major models, the European, the GFS, and the Canadian, are in remarkable agreement. Let me break it all down. By the way, if you'd like specific weather forecasts for your region or city, please leave them in the comments. I'll answer them individually as time allows. Also, if you like the video and subscribe to my channel, you'd be very grateful. Now, let's move on. First, the aftermath of this week. The Tuesday through Wednesday severe weather outbreak delivered as warned. Over 200 wind damage reports poured in across the South, Ohio Valley, and Northeast. 2 additional tornado reports were confirmed Wednesday. As of this morning, more than 327,000 homes remain without power across multiple states. Washington leads with 94,000 outages. Mississippi has 48,000. Idaho, 39,000. Georgia, 28,000. Louisiana, 27,000. Alabama, 26,000. The severe weather that tore through this week on top of the March 5th through 8th outbreak that killed 8 people and produced an EF3 tornado has made this one of the most active early March severe weather periods in recent memory. Now here is what is happening today. The Clipper system is moving from the northwest across the Great Lakes and into the interior northeast through tonight. This is not a subtle system. Wind gusts are reaching 50 to 80 miles per hour across a massive area from Washington and Idaho through Montana and western Wyoming, then across the Dakotas, Nebraska, Kansas, northern Missouri, Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Illinois, the Great Lakes, Ohio, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, and western New York. Ohio could see gusts exceeding 60 miles per hour. Blizzard conditions are developing, and not just from snowfall. Ground blizzards are possible in areas with limited new snow, but extreme winds blowing existing snow across the landscape. Snowfall from the Clipper pushes through 6 inches and increases dramatically to a foot or more across northern Minnesota, northern Wisconsin, and the upper peninsula of Michigan. Freezing rain and snow mix in across northern Michigan. The mid-Atlantic picks up 2 to 5 inches in the higher elevations as the system exits. In the mountains of the Pacific Northwest, higher elevations of Washington are seeing over 160 inches of snowfall accumulation, and western Montana is measuring in feet. Avalanche warnings are active, but the Clipper is the appetizer. The main course arrives Sunday. Here is the snow bomb. A second and much more powerful storm system builds over Idaho, western Montana, and western Wyoming on Saturday. By Sunday morning, it crosses the plains. This is where it gets extreme. The system undergoes cyclogenesis and approaches bombogenesis, deepening approximately 24 millibars in 24 hours. When it pivots toward the Great Lakes, the combination of the intensifying low, heavy precipitation and warm lake waters creates a snowfall machine. The Great Lakes ice has melted significantly this season. That warm water fuels lake enhancement, dramatically boosting snowfall totals near the lake shores. The result is 2 to 4 feet of snow around the Great Lakes. The heavy snow corridor stretches from Montana through Wyoming, the Dakotas, Nebraska, Iowa, northern Missouri, Wisconsin, Michigan, the entire Great Lakes region, and into the interior, Northeast, and New England. The European model tilts the heaviest snow more toward Illinois and Missouri. The GFS shows a similar pattern. Both models agree this is a whopper of a snowstorm. Blizzard watches are likely. Travel will be nearly impossible in the hardest hit zones, with heavy snowfall rates compounded by strong winds creating whiteout conditions. On the southern side of the storm, an ice storm develops with freezing rain creating hazardous conditions. The front itself pushes 50 mile per hour or greater wind gusts all the way to the Gulf Coast. And here is the severe weather component. The SPC already has a 15% risk issued for Sunday, and that is expected to grow. On the warm side of this system, temperatures surge into the 80s and even 90s across the south. Dew points of 60 degrees pull north toward the Ohio Valley. The collision of this warm, humid air with the advancing Arctic front creates a volatile environment for severe storms. Cells pulling northward from the Gulf and the Atlantic ahead of the linear front create a tornado threat along the east coast. QLCS tornadoes embedded in the squall line are possible. Individual supercells pulling north from the Gulf could produce strong tornadoes. Sunday afternoon and evening through Monday are the most dangerous window. The SPC has also flagged Monday for severe weather across the mid-Atlantic. This means the same storm system is producing blizzards and multi-foot snow in the Great Lakes while simultaneously generating tornadoes along the East Coast. That is the definition of a dynamic and dangerous weather system. The cold blast behind this storm is the most significant of the month. Monday morning brings freezing temperatures surging south into the 30s across the south and east coast. Wind chills plunge to -15 to -20 degrees Fahrenheit from northern Missouri through Minnesota. Monday highs only recover to the 40s and 50s in the south, while the Midwest, Ohio Valley, and Great Lakes remain frozen. Tuesday morning, the freezing line pivots into the northern deep south, with Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia seeing freezing temperatures. The GFS is even more aggressive, showing the cold reaching Texas. The Canadian model is the most extreme of the three. Temperatures run 20 to 30 degrees below average all the way through Tuesday and into Wednesday along the southeast and east coast before the cold begins to exit. After the cold blast exits, above-average warmth pushes back in temporarily. But this is not the end. More cold fronts are forecast to continue arriving through the end of March and into April. The pattern remains volatile. Now, the special predictions by region. For the Great Lakes and Upper Midwest, this is the bullseye for the snow bomb. Northern Minnesota, northern Wisconsin, the UP of Michigan, and the broader Great Lakes region should prepare for 2 to 4 feet of snow from Sunday into Monday and Tuesday. Lake enhancement from warm lake waters amplifies totals near lake shores. Blizzard conditions with wind gusts of 50 to 80 miles per hour and heavy snowfall rates make travel impossible. The Clipper today adds 6 inches to a foot across the northern tier as a down payment before the main event. For Minneapolis, blizzard conditions arrive. Heavy snow, wind chills -15 to 20. For Green Bay, Milwaukee, and Madison, in the heart of the snow corridor. For Detroit and Chicago, heavy snow and blizzard conditions. The Euro places the heaviest band near Illinois, while the GFS shifts it slightly. Either way, significant accumulation. For the Midwest, today's Clipper brings ground blizzards with 60-plus mile-per-hour gusts across Iowa, Kansas, Nebraska, and northern Missouri. Snow from the Sunday system extends into the Dakotas, Nebraska, Iowa, and northern Missouri. Blizzard watches likely. For Kansas City and St. Louis, strong winds today, then heavy snow and ice from the Sunday storm. Northern Missouri could see significant accumulation. For the Ohio Valley, today's Clipper brings 60-plus mile-per-hour gusts across Ohio into Pennsylvania. The Sunday through Monday storm brings heavy snow across the region with ice on the southern edge. For Columbus, Indianapolis, and Cincinnati, after a week of severe weather and tornadoes, winter returns dramatically. Temperatures crash 25 to 30 degrees below normal. For the Northeast, today's Clipper brings snow to the interior Northeast and parts of New England. The Mid-Atlantic sees 2 to 5 inches in higher elevations. The Sunday storm extends the heavy snow corridor into the interior Northeast and New England. For Albany and upstate New York, significant snow is likely. For Boston and New York City, the track determines snow versus rain, but temperatures crash regardless. Wind gusts from the Sunday storm could be damaging. For the Mid-Atlantic, snow from today's system in the mountains. The Sunday-Monday storm brings the severe weather threat with the SPC flagging Monday for the region. Tornadoes are possible from QLCS and discrete cells pulling north. Then temperatures plunge into the 30s. For DC and Philadelphia, from the 60s to the 30s as the cold blast arrives. For the Deep South and Southeast, the severe weather threat fires Sunday through Monday. The SPC's 15% risk for Sunday will likely grow. Tornadoes possible from cells pulling north from the Gulf and Atlantic. Straight line damaging winds all the way to the Gulf Coast with the frontal passage. Then freezing temperatures arrive Tuesday morning across Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia. For Atlanta, Nashville, and Memphis, severe storms, then freezing temps. Power outages from this week are still being restored. A new round of severe weather and then cold adds insult to injury for the southern plains. The cold blast reaches Texas on the GFS solution and even more aggressively on the Canadian model. Wind chills in the 20s across Texas. The severe weather this week has finally ended, but the cold represents a new challenge. For the West, mountain snow continues in extraordinary amounts. Washington, higher elevations over 160 inches. Western Montana, feet of snow. Avalanche danger high. As the trough shifts east, a ridge builds across the west, bringing above-average warmth to places like Las Vegas. California stays dry under the ridge. The bottom line. The Clipper today brings blizzard winds and heavy snow across the Great Lakes. But the snow bomb arriving Sunday is the main event with 2 to 4 feet of snow around the Great Lakes from bombogenesis and lake enhancement. Severe weather fires along the East Coast with tornadoes possible Sunday through Monday. Then a cold blast drops temperatures 20 to 30 degrees below normal all the way to the deep south. 3 major models all agree. This is the last stand of winter 2026 and it is going out swinging. Stay prepared.